Giannis, the Greek freak, sticking in Milwaukee. It looks like he got a 3-year, $186 million max extension, veteran extension from Milwaukee. That's going to put him on their books at least until 26, 27, possibly even 27, 28, just depending on how the option works out and everything like that. So that is a significant development for the Bucks. It kind of takes a little bit of a weight off their back. Giannis did have some comments earlier this summer saying like, "Hey, I love playing for the Bucks. I love the city. I love the fans, but I'm a winner. I want to be in a place to where I can win." So the front office saw that. I think it kind of gave them a little bit more of a kick. It's like, hey, like I'm here, but you can't take me for granted. I want to be somewhere where I have a legit chance at the championship. Don't get complacent. So from that came the Drew Holiday trade. So, gives them another, swapping him out and getting Damian Lillard there really just kind of, I think, gave Giannis the confidence to sign this extension. They're going to do everything they can because, on paper, you go back earlier this summer, like if someone had told you they're going to trade Drew Holiday away and get Damian Lillard, like no one would have believed that was even possible. So obviously the Bucks are serious about keeping this team competitive, keeping them fresh, giving Giannis the best chance at a championship humanly possible. But specifically when it comes to the numbers of this deal, I mean, just phenomenal money, just incredible money. Average annual value is over $60 million a season for these 3 years of the extension. Mind-blowing money, really, just looking at how much Giannis is going to make in the 3 years of this extension. Just, incredible numbers all around. Obviously, he's worth it. He's a multiple-time MVP, so you make this deal every single day of the week. But of course, for the Bucks, they're going to have to just deal with that high payroll as long as it's coursed together. Middleton just got an extension himself. He got a new contract earlier this summer. Damian Lillard is making incredible money himself. He's going to be over $50 million. So you look at those three guys together. Brook Lopez gets a new contract this summer. Just all the way down this roster, you have pretty high value contracts. So the Bucks are going to have to deal with that. They're going to have to work on margins through the draft, just making savvy moves. Once the apron rules kick in, that's really going to hurt the Bucks. But hey, it's the price of doing business, and no one's going to fault them for doing this deal. So, Anil, on your side, what are your big takeaways from this deal? How does this impact the Bucks going forward? What do you think about this deal? Kind of looking at it from all angles here.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to take in. So obviously, the Milwaukee Bucks were one thing this offseason, and that was extremely aggressive. Re-signing Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, Giannis, Dame, acquiring Dame, moving Drew Holiday, moving Grayson Allen. Like they were very busy for a contender, for a perennial contender. This Giannis extension, all summer we heard, and he said, "Oh, it doesn't make sense for me to sign it this offseason. We'll look at that next offseason." But apparently, the front office went to Giannis and his agent, and they were kind of pitching how, if he signs a 3-year extension now, then in 2026, he'll be able to sign another extension to add 2 years so that in 2028, he'll be able to sign another extension when he's 33. That's a much longer extension. And then kind of duck that over 38 rule. So maybe that's what finally convinced him to do it. Regardless, Milwaukee's in a much better position now because they really were feeling more on the clock. So now Giannis and Dame are under contract for at least the next 4 years, including this season and then 3 more seasons. So the 26-27 season, Giannis has a player option the season after that. But now Giannis and Dame, they're aligned, which is awesome. It doesn't necessarily mean that they'll both be there until the end of that contract because, as we've seen tons of times, players can request trades and they demand trades and they get moved. However, what it does is it ensures Milwaukee that, hey, if this thing does fall apart and we got to trade these guys, with this many years left on their contracts, they will get a lot of value back. Look at the value that, a Rudy Gobert fetched, Damian Lillard fetched. If Giannis asks out in 2 years, they're gonna they're going to make away with a huge ransom. So it basically secures them for the long term. Now, with this contract, Milwaukee is over the second apron. They were already over the second apron this season. They're over the second apron next season, which they already were. So they have limited options to improve the roster via trade or by signings. They really only have the minimum exception to use. Making trades is going to be difficult. They can't sign players off of who get bought out if they made over the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. So improving the roster is going to be a little bit challenging and tricky. And then next season, if they're over the second apron, which they're projected to be, that's when the frozen draft pick rules are going to start kicking in. So they're not going to be able to trade a pick that's 7 years away. So there's going to be a lot of pressure, and they're going to have to get creative in terms of how to get better. I think that this season specifically is going to come down to Chris Middleton. We know what Damian Lillard brings to the table. We know what Giannis brings to the table. But Chris Middleton's coming into this season banged up. I think he played one preseason game where he didn't look great. He's going to definitely need some time. I expect Dame and Giannis to be a deadly duo. But there's a lot of good teams out there. And Chris Middleton is a very important piece for this team moving forward. And I think how he performs is going to determine how far Milwaukee's going to be able to go.
100%. You look at that year that they won the championship in 2021, Chris Middleton was a big part of that. They were fully healthy when they won that championship. The years they haven't won, he hasn't been healthy. So to your point, he has to be himself. He has to be that flamethrower, that guy that can, catch fire at any time, be a solid perimeter defender, be that two-way wing that kind of completes the lineup for them. They have a great point of attack guard in Dame. They have a great big man in Giannis. They need somebody to kind of fill in those gaps and to really get them over the hump. The Eastern Conference is really competitive. You talked about the West being competitive. The East is as well. If we're talking about legitimate contenders, there aren't many. We're probably in agreement that only the Bucks and Celtics are like legitimately in that mix for winning it all. But if we talk about teams that can make the playoffs, make the second round, and there's a lot of teams in that mix. So they're going to need to be whole. They're going to need to be healthy. And you don't sign Chris Middleton to this extension for him to be in and out of the lineup. You want him to be able to play that 65 or so, 60, 65 games at least for them to really have a chance and then be healthy at the end of it all. So I'm with you on that, Anil. They're going to need him. They're going to need everybody firing on all cylinders. But at least with this Giannis extension, it really kind of puts everything in place. It kind of solidifies this team for the long haul. They're in it. They're in it to win it. They don't have to worry about the rumors, the outside noise. They can really just put their heads down and focus on the task at hand, which is bringing another championship to Milwaukee. And they have one of the best odds in the league. I mean, you can't deny that. They have overwhelming talent on that team.